Jas!
Yes.
So, I just wanted to quickly ask you, what is the most outrageous thing you've done in life?
I've thought about this. I think the most outrageous thing I have done is forgiveness.
Forgiving. The most outrageous thing you've done
For me, yeah.
is forgiving.
Yes.
Okay. Now, think about this. What is the kindest thing you've done? Pure kindness.
I'm going to keep it simple.
Let's see.
Forgiving again.
Forgiveness. When have you felt like a man? When have you felt like?
The most manly?
I mean,
masculine?
okay.
Or like a man?
I felt like masculine. I mean, I don't know what it is to feel like for you to that. When have you felt masculine? Yeah, that's more appropriate.
I think when I'm behind the wheel and I'm cussing at somebody on the road, that's when I've felt most masculine, yeah.
Like you feel like you're masculine at that point of time.
Yeah. I mean, if I have to really think about something, yeah.
Okay. When have you felt most like feminine?
Wow, I don't know why my hands are sweating answering your questions.
Only your hands are sweating and not anything else.
I would say in awareness of my femininity would be when I'm in the shower.
So you have felt most feminine when you're naked. Would that be okay to say?
Absolutely.
Do you understand where I'm going with this?
Okay, I understand that when you did ask me these questions, we associate softness with being a woman and aggression with being masculine or being a man. But is that the reason why we find it so hard to see emotions? This is an emotion, right? Whatever we're feeling. Is it so hard to see emotion as human instead of gendered?
That's what I'm saying. Are emotions gendered? Now, let's talk about that.
Right. Well, this feels raw and introspective, and that's exactly
Because
what...
I want to catch an emotion that solely a woman feels. And a man is absolved of it. Like totally. They don't even know that it exists.
Would there be an emotion
Let's
like
see.
that?
Let's find out. I don't know. The jury's out. And that's what they're trying to say. That there is a masculine emotion and there is a feminine emotion. And I think that's just gender coming in the way. Emotions are emotions. So, this is Arsala Qureshi.
Hi, this is Jas Growth, and today on Love Lingo, Adulting Unadulterated, we are diving into the F word.
Love Lingo, Love Lingo, Love Lingo, slowly made it Love Lingo.
Feminism.
I mean, when did... Like, they say it like an expletive. Hey, you are a feminist! And I'm like, is that even like a... Like, they're assaulting me with that word, and I'm like, I should kind of... I'm like, okay.
Well, when you go out and ask people what does feminism mean, you get all kinds of very interesting interpretations. But what feminism to you, what is your understanding of feminism? If you want to break it down.
I mean, I can't... Okay, it'll take a real long time for me to break it down. But
in a
inherently, I think being born as a woman in a family, that's all we can become. That's what we aspire to be until it's an equal world. And that's not a bad thing. Feminism is the radical notion that women are people. Think about it. We're in the 21st century. It's 2025. There is a gross distinction between the rights that men have and the rights that women have. And we are living by that world order. And I think it's antediluvian, of course. And I think it's an unfair practice to continue with the subjugation.
Right, like my threshold for inequality or injustice for man, woman, child is very, very low. Talking for myself. Of course, there are a lot of people out there who would feel the same way. But that clearly makes me a feminist. The moment I say that I have a really, really low tolerance or threshold for injustice or inequality, that's what it is. If you feel that way, then you are a feminist.
See, I have a problem with the women who are educated or so so-called educated, living in metropolitan cities, living in cosmopolitan cities, and they say, I'm not a feminist, but, and the addendum is always writing all the things that feminism has enabled them to do, which includes you and I sitting here speaking into the mic or having this platform. This would not have been possible, what, how many years ago? What? I think 1970s is the first time that women got the right to vote with the suffragette movement. And America, I think America got its right to much later. And I think Afghanistan or New Zealand were one of the few countries. So when people say, oh, but and when women say, what has feminism done for me? The fact that you are fucking able to ask that question, that's what feminism has done for you.
And the fact that we can sit here and talk is what feminism has done to all of us.
Yes, to all of us. And in this room, all the ladies who are here, feminism has enabled them to be where they are in this moment. You tell me, what does it mean to you? Like you said, you have a really low threshold for inequality. That again.
Yeah, because I am not choosing but siding with a certain set of individuals who've been historically oppressed or suppressed. And this has been going on for centuries, right? So clearly, when we talk about equality and when we talk about feminism, it is nothing but a human rights movement that calls for equal opportunities for all genders.
The systemic oppression of women, which is documented and probably perpetrated by religion, as well as dogma, as well as mythology. Now let's talk about the original sin. This single story justified centuries of misogyny, and women were excluded from positions and places of power. You know the story, right?
The apple story.
In the Quran, it's the grain. And all Abrahamical religions probably follow this. So Adam was born and came into the world. And he was feeling lonely. He was walking naked in the damn garden. He was feeling lonely. From his ribcage erupted or was created Eve. And she was there just to give him company. Now, Eve spots a tree, and in the tree hangs an apple, a low-hanging fruit. She says, hey, look at this. And she just probably said, you want to try it? Because, she came after and she was just being a nice person. But because of her tempting, and he bit into the temptation, and they were thrown out of paradise. Now, this is the original sin. There's no culpability of Adam involved in this. He has no agency. Eve came, tempted him, gave him the apple, and that was that. They're thrown out of paradise. So this is the original sin. And this is from where, at least biblically, and where the oppression began for women.
The fact that the woman was held responsible for temptation, for giving into temptations, and that was also written, conceived by a man, supposedly, clearly not a jury of women. My next question was about Eve, because I actually got thinking about Eve, Mother Eve. She would have been the first feminist.
Probably. That's what I say. When I heard this great Egyptian writer and feminist, and she said, when did you become a feminist? And I think her answer was superlative, and I don't think I've heard a better answer. She says, you don't become a feminist. You're a born feminist. You just find out. When you're born in a family and you're a woman, and there is a systemic oppression, suppression, regression, you just find out you're a feminist. You are a born feminist. We are the freest we've ever been as a society, but women still have to fight for their rights of equality. We haven't reached there yet.
No, we haven't reached there yet, but we are working at it in our own individual capacities. And when we talk about feminism, the reason why we're sitting here and talking about it is because today I am more aware.
Yeah.
I probably, when I was born, I didn't know I was a feminist. I did not wake up one day saying that, hey, I feel I'm a feminist. No, it was just a process of awareness, of understanding internalized misogyny, of being a part in it and still revolting against a lot of things that did not go down well with me. And for me, that's the process, right? It's like evolving. It's like an evolving feminism.
The male loneliness epidemic is also blamed on women, just like eating the forbidden fruit in the Quran and Bible was. Everything that a man does, which doesn't have a value attached to it, somehow it becomes a woman's fault. But where do they want to keep you in the shadows? Behind every successful man. What is that line? That dirty
behind
line?
every successful man, there is a woman.
There's a woman. And then whenever I heard that line,
That's a cringe line. I
that's
feel
a
like
cringe
I can
motherfucking
cringe at that
guys.
line because
I'm sorry,
I
I'm
feel,
cussing a lot today. That's not my nature.
no,
'Cause
but I admire the men who see. Okay, feminism is not about disgracing men. Let's make that
we never
very
did.
clear.
I'm saying
but
this is
I
a
also
line said by
feel
society.
yes, but I also feel like, of course, kudos or more respect to the men who do give the due credit to any woman in their lives, be it professionally, be it in their personal dynamics as a mother or a wife or a sister.
So when you say
who have
give
been
credit,
supportive,
give credit.
no, respect that they acknowledge. And why not? If somebody is acknowledging the contribution, why not bring it up? And if they're doing it, then great.
This is where benevolent sexism comes
No. Okay, we will talk about that as well. But this is just about being so human that, okay, if another human is appreciating someone, great. How many of us get the appreciation? Not that we totally want validation, but yes, some of us do seek it. And that's also the process of understanding your self-worth, which we will again talk about. But the fact is that the line that behind every successful man is a woman does, when it comes to the year, it does, there is a cringe factor
And
to
there's
it.
benevolent sexism involved in that, which I will elaborate further. But I want to bring this point that you said, behind every successful man is a woman. You know why that is? Because they have taken away from the woman as well.
Yeah.
Because let's consider Einstein. Einstein's first wife was a mathematician. He took a lot from her. And then it's very easy to say behind every successful man is a woman. Like Sartre, Jean-Paul Sartre. But Simone de Beauvoir and him were living in Paris in the Belle Epoque, and they were discussing ideas that shaped Sartre and Simone de Beauvoir, who is the mother of feminism. Because her quote, again, is something that changed my life. मुझे ऐसा हिला दिया था उसके quote ने.
The quote goes like this: one is not born, but rather becomes a woman.
Yeah. So that's why it's very important to realize the emotional awareness that one carries within themselves. Because emotions replicate in human beings, but just at different times. I think a man and a woman go through the same emotions, but maybe at different times.
Would there be an emotional shift if I reversed the line? Behind every successful woman is a man. Let's break that down.
Okay, let's hear that line. Let's see the
Let's
men will go
understand.
crazy.
What about the women? What about you?
What about me?
Standing
I've been given
over.
birth by a male and a female. So yes, birth-wise, yes. When you say success, what do you mean by success?
Whatever it means.
To me? When you say behind every successful man is a woman, okay, that's done to death. Behind every successful woman is a man, no. Because women are, because that is counterintuitive.
Erasure of men?
No, it's the erasure of women, because that's counterintuitive for all our foremothers, what they've gone through and lived their lives in a total oblivion, for probably all of us to recognize one day that the power lies within us. Maybe
going back to the original line, behind every successful man is a woman. Why does that hurt?
because she's in the shadow. Why is she in the shadow? Why is she behind you and not standing beside you? Why can
Where
you
is
not
the man?
behind every एक मर्द के पीछे एक औरत होती है. Clearly, in कोई भी language में वो तुम्हारे पीछे ही है.
और एक औरत के पीछे एक मर्द?
खुद झूठ है वो.
वो झूठ है
100%.
अगर नहीं I'm telling you like if I'm hypothetically
No, your hypothetics don't make sense because historically I'm telling you that's not the truth. Men have not given us emancipation. Women have had to take it themselves.
well you're going back you're going into history into
I'm going into documented
numbers.
history of the world and
Yes.
statistics. If you go by statistics, men gave women nothing.
Right.
In only, in some cases, an orgasm, probably not in many that too.
But women
yeah.
get that on their own as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We don't have to
I'm just
fend.
saying. I'm just saying. I am just saying. Because see, it dismantles.
And if that's the one thing that you think is not easily available.
Well, it dismantles the patriarchy. Now, let me ask you a hypothetical question. If you were born a man, would you change anything about the world? Would you want to give women equal rights? Or would you want to subjugate them and subordinate them like you have been?
I would want to give them equal rights.
Well, that's you speaking as a woman, and I will clearly call that out.
But hypothetically,
hypothetics doesn't
if I
work.
was a man, how would you know that what
Exactly.
kind of a
I wouldn't.
reformed man
I wouldn't.
or
I wouldn't.
evolved
I
man
wouldn't.
I am
But
becoming?
what? Okay, there's so many reformed men and evolved men here. How many have come up and spoken about women's rights? I'm not saying every man.
I agree with what you're saying because in a study I found out that most men, like a lot of men, while they support gender equality in a workplace, when a woman was interrupted or dismissed, less than 30% of them
We'll speak up.
speak up
Never.
or intervene. And that is statistics. I'm not just saying it. So I
That's
totally
character.
I agree to what
and that's
you're
gender.
saying.
And that's gender. Because they have a tight boys group. They do. So a top tier man, the man of your vision, the man of your dreams, is just an average woman. Stop praising men for fulfilling or doing basic things, like changing their son's or daughter's diaper. Oh my God, you changed the diaper? You're so amazing. You're so sweet. And you know the F word, sorry, is that women are giving these praises. I mean, why is it always an equilibrium that is in earthly favored in for a sex and the other sex is dispossessed? Why is there no equilibrium? Why does the world have a problem with anyone who has a problem with the word feminist has a problem with equality? Do you understand the model of a trad wife on social media right now? You know why they're making money? Because umpteen women that are seeing that are sitting at home. So they are making money out of women who are doing nothing. Do you see the vicious cycle that they're perpetrating? It's either a trad wife or a boss babe. That is to mimic and become like a man. It's not feminism. Feminism is just about equality. It's just about equal rights. Whatever rights, let's consider Neeti. She's working 10 hours a day. Another man is working 10 hours a day. And I'm pretty much sure that they will have two different paychecks. Same job profile, same age, same education, same experience, same everything, but she will have a different paycheck coming to her at the end of the month. That's where feminism comes in.
Pay parity.
So it's pay parity. It's a human parity. It's just saying people. We're also people. Is that so hard to see?
Just a radical notion.
Or is it only compatible when you're like fucking banging each other? And even in that, let's talk about porn. Oh my God, let's talk about porn. Pornography is the perfect propaganda for patriarchy. It is just like something that is designed for patriarchy, and I'll tell you what. Pornography normalizes male domination and female subordination. And how does it do that? How does it do that? I know it's an uncomfortable conversation to have, but we have to have uncomfortable conversations, otherwise we're not going to go anywhere.
True, go all out.
Women are seen as devising pleasure from subordination and pain. Not to say that women might not get pleasure out of that. I'm not saying that. I am not saying that. Porn normalizes sexually abusive behavior, and a lot of men learn about sex from porn. And in porn, nothing is too degrading or painful for women. Most popular acts shown in porn are vaginal, anal, and oral penetration by 3 or more men at the same time. A female gagging from a penis thrust in her throat. And this is something that men get off on. My question is, to think that men hate women to such a degree where they are aroused by these vile images is telling and profound. Do you understand what I'm saying?
So it's an aggressive act, right?
Absolutely.
And it is orchestrated by men. So my question to you is, what if women directed porn? Would there be a difference?
Of course there would be a difference. Of course there would be a difference. But the porn industry is managed by men. And on every jury. So now you make a very important distinction. A lot of rape cases are adjudicated, and in the honorable chair sits a man.
Right.
And a jury of men. Deciding on what a rape means to a woman. Do you understand what I'm saying? The lapses. If the porn industry had equal representation, or probably a more diverse board, there would be equality reached. Because, of course, you have to be pro-choice.
Right.
I think it's extremely important to realize that we are given birth and we come into this world. After that, to immediately confine women with the basic assumption that वो पराए घर का धन है. So ये जब मैंने पहली बार सुना ना, पराए घर का धन, एक तो मुझे ये समझ में नहीं आया कि आपका धन है तो यहाँ क्या कर रहा है इतने साल. एकदम जब बाउंटी सही हो जाएगी तब आप लेके जाओगे, और लेके जाने से पहले आप बोलोगे मुझे पैसे भी दो इसके, मैं इसको लेके जा रहा हूँ. I mean, do you understand these things that I just don't get? And now, you raised a very important point that about women carrying patriarchy to its peak.
Yeah, because I would like to even talk for myself. As much as I call myself a feminist who believes in this radical notion that women are equal to men, I also realize that I have been a victim of internalized misogyny.
In what way?
Growing up, we are always appreciated, right, for the good things we do. Mm. For the bad things we don't do, we get punished, or whatsoever you want to call it, depending on how we're being raised. And it's always, self-worth for me is something I always thought that was external. Mm. I realized only very recently that this is the mindset subconsciously I had about myself, that my self-worth was attached to something outside of me. Mm. And it would surface in the ways when I would want to be needed. I wanted to comply. I wanted to help. So if somebody told me, hey, Jas, I have a problem, can you help me? Yes, I would fix it for you. And then an instant sense of worthiness would come in. And I realized, like a lot of other people would also have the same experience, that it all starts with when you're a little girl. And when you are praised, when you do something nicely with a good girl pat, and you are, if you're obedient, then again you are praised and you're told that you're a good girl. So what really happens is that your self-worth then becomes about getting validation from your mother, your father, your sibling, your friends, your teachers, your partner, and then that vicious cycle, which I have been a victim of, right? But I realized that that's the problem I have, and it is actually, I need to fix it for myself. I started to rewire certain things about myself. And then I realized that the core of feminism is the ownership of your own worth, not relying on anybody. For example, I have a little niece. She is just a little over 2 years old. My communication with her and the way I converse with her, I am so careful, because every time she's doing something, if she's playing, she's coloring, or putting her toys back in her cupboard, I almost I'm about to say good girl, and I'm like, okay, wait, I have to correct myself. So I choose to say things that are more specific in nature to the compliment or feedback or reinforcement I give that child, in a way that if I do appreciate her for coloring with a crayon of her choice of color, I'm like, wow, you picked that color, that's so interesting. Or, oh, wow, you put your toys back so neatly. So giving that kind of feedback and appreciation is something that I am practicing at this point of time, being an aunt. And I feel like that is what I can do best for a young girl growing up, where she doesn't have to always be in that good girl situation where that's the validation she's always seeking for being good. Yes, you're good, but I will choose a different way to tell you that so that you don't have to always.
So the words we use, the semantics, nuance, you're picking up a nuanced.
My self-worth was attached to that.
So
And
you
I know a lot of people's self-worth could have been attached to getting that appreciation and for being good or for complying all their lives and seeking that kind of approval. So I strongly realize the connect between self-worth, feminism, and self-worth. And that in itself is so bloody empowering when you understand that.
Yeah, absolutely is.
What is your understanding of self-worth?
Okay, intrinsically, inherently, I never really cared about compliments. I never did. I never do till now. I don't care. So for me, it was never that, oh, a man's compliment is going to mean more than a woman's, because I know to a lot of people, till they hear it from their father or a male, they're like, did we even like do it? And I know a lot of women have that problem, and they're still living in the patriarchal shadow. So they have to extricate themselves from that, to even forge ahead and think about where, forget anyone else's, male, female, it's your own validation that counts. And the universe has an unusual way of complimenting you and to give you the answers you need. It's not always in the form of a human being.
And yet be a victim of internalized misogyny.
Absolutely. Yes,
That's
you are
what I'm
right.
trying
You're
to
spot
say.
on. Because feminism is not a stopgap. It's not like you've begun and there's an end.
Yeah.
Equality has no end. I mean, it doesn't. That's the
doesn't.
thing. It's a constant. We're fighting for it every day.
Right.
We're fighting to be equal every day. Even if we are working in different fields, but we want the same rights and rules applicable to one human being, to all. That's all equality is. And it won't stop. Because now you see AI has come in. So our fight has emerged again.
Right.
So this is, like you said, an ongoing movement. It's not going to stop. And the most beautiful part of it will happen is when men also, and a lot of men have, okay, this is also their fight. Because, of course, some of them are just brilliant human beings, and some of them, of course, have daughters, sisters, which they feel for, and an emotion is evoked in them, which they want to change the world for the better. And that will happen. And that has to happen. I don't think, and I, as a feminist, do not think that we can win this fight or this movement without the participation of men. We need them as allies. They are our allies. They are our natural allies, and they just have to realize
agree,
it.
because
all women are allies. They just have to realize it. That's just the missing link in this. We're not taking away your rights. We're just giving ourselves equal rights. And if that is a problem for a human being, that's all I need to know about them.
Yeah, because clearly feminism is about demanding better lives for everyone, right? The entire spectrum, the gender. And also, it's not about revenge, it's not about supremacy, it is about equality.
माँ के हाथ का खाना
सबको पसंद है.
सबको पसंद है. But can I just be very honest with you? मुझे मेरी माँ आज तक किचन में पसंद नहीं आई. I'm that anomaly.
Yeah.
I am that anomaly. मेरी माँ और मेरे भाई बहनों को भी, अगर वो किचन में जाती हैं, हम उनको निकाल के लाते हैं कि क्या कर रहे हैं आप अपना टाइम, क्यों हमसे बैठे हैं, बातें करें, ये करें. So boys love being served, and they take it into their relationship also. And this is just not about food. It's about the emotional and physical labor involved in romanticizing माँ के हाथ का खाना. एक नरेट कर रहे हैं इंसिडेंट, और ये वाकया हुआ है, हाँ, मेरे जानने वालों में. आया लड़का खाया है बैठा है, अरे यार मेरी माँ के, तुमने बनाया ठीक है समझ में आ रहा है, बट यार माँ के हाथ की बात नहीं आती. उसने एक बार सुना, उसने 2 बार सुना लड़की ने, उसने कहा अरे रख, पूरा लाई और ये फेंका उस पे और काल ले, ये फ़ोन लगाया है, बुला ले अपनी माँ को, अब मैं निकली. So women nowadays are not gonna take this passive aggressiveness, and men have a problem with that. Because they're like, ये क्या हो गया, मम्मी ने तो कभी ऐसा नहीं किया. अबे तो मम्मी ने नहीं किया तो जा मम्मी के पास, मम्मी के साथ ही रहना जिंदगी भर. Do you understand just what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. So I think men in general have this fixation with, women cooking for them, and of course even men do cook. Let's not.
Well,
take
they're
that
called
away.
chefs. When men cook,
Well,
it's a chef.
Yeah, exactly.
When women cook, it's invisible labor and unpaid
Exactly,
labor. So yeah, I mean, there's a
absolutely.
clear distinction
On
here.
the money.
On the money, they're called chefs. Women, जिंदगी भर वो करते हैं माँ के हाथ का, romanticizing anything.
So I recall from what you just said, I recall an incident when I was 15, and I'd come back from my boarding school and I was with my dad, and he took me to meet an old friend of his. So we've gone to see him. It was tea time and we were just chilling. And all of a sudden, he looks at my dad's friend, and asks him a question, the audacity, that, what does she cook? And I was all of 15.
कहाँ इसका address दो?
My dad set the score. वो दिन और आज का दिन, he never, ever, ever spoke to him. And he told him, he sounded him off, my father. He said that, she's my child. How dare you ask me that has she started to cook?
That's the ugly head of patriarchy roaring and having the
Exactly.
audacity to not even impose it on your children, but impose it and indirectly refer it to someone else's child.
Yeah.
Do you understand how it raises its ugly rear and
It
head?
does.
It does. And it comes in places that you'd least expect it. And do I have internalized misogyny? Did I have it? Probably many years ago I would have. I don't think I do now, because I check myself in the moment. I check myself in the moment. But maybe in a lot of other things I'm failing somehow. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm not giving myself any brownie points for checking myself in the moment, but which is really important to do. You know? I cannot sit behind this mic in this beautiful room, in front of these beautiful people and a beautiful co-host and say, I'm not a feminist, but this is feminism, which enables you and I to do this, which enables them to do what they're doing.
And it's in no way negating men.
No, it's not.
It's in no
But
way
men have
trying
done that.
to put men down. It's in no way women trying to be on a pedestal. It's just shifting the focus a little more towards.
I don't think it's about. Yeah, you're right. It's about shifting the focus. So what I find the dilemma in India right now is between men and women is women are not taking shit. Women are emancipated and they're understanding. यार मैं पढ़ी लिखी हूँ, मैं कमा रही हूँ, मैं modern age में जिंदा रह रही हूँ, मैं किसी और के घर की जाके नौकरानी क्यों बनूँ और पिताने क्यों सुनूँ? मैं अपने घर में मैं किसी और के माँ बाप की सेवा क्यों करूँ? मैं अपने माँ बाप की करती हूँ ना. The male loneliness epidemic is erupted. Women are not taking shit. And everything that happens in society somehow becomes, as you know,
the woman's fault.
The woman's fault.
Coming to accountability. Men, clearly, I wouldn't say they hate feminism, but what they really hate is accountability. And that's why the fault is always the woman's.
I think
right?
I would disagree here.
Why?
Men do not want, it's not the lack of accountability. They won't be CEOs if they were not accountable. They don't want the power dynamics to shift.
Hold on. Being a CEO.
You reach there with accountability. You just don't
Yes,
reach there on a whimsical high.
But again, at the same time.
Men don't hate accountability. They're always accountable to their peers, to fellow men. They don't hate accountability. They don't.
So when we're talking about accountability, it's in particular, in specific to the kind of engagement they have with the opposite sex or the other genders, right?
Well, they think they're not accountable, right?
Exactly. Because they don't take accountability. You just answered it.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to say now, what happens when you don't take accountability? Why does somebody not take accountability? Because accountability makes them uncomfortable. It's like literally pointing a finger at you, and you don't like that. It seems like an attack. Like, oh, all of that, right? So if you think about it, there's a big question mark when it comes to accountability. Be it in a patriarchal setup, be it in a personal setup, be it in a professional setup, it's about accountability.
Because, I've known you for some time now. It's about what? 10, or whatever, however long it's been. I've seen your growth as a person who probably didn't understand concepts but knew who they were. And then I'm seeing you as a person who understands concepts and is owning them. Mm-hmm. So, do you think feminism has played a very big part in who you are today?
Absolutely. Without a wink. 100%. Yes.
How? Can you give me an instance where you felt empowered by the fact that you're so comfortable?
Okay, a lot of things are in retrospect, because when I look back, of course, when I was a teenager or if I was a young girl, I wasn't aware, right? But I remember getting upset and vocalizing if I felt something wasn't fair. I have a brother, so everything was about, oh, if he can do it, why can't I? And a lot of times I wasn't allowed to do it. If I had to go on an all-girls trip, I wasn't allowed. My friends went, so I would fight. Like, why can't I go? I mean, even if I had to be vocal and there was so much angst in me that I would make a point and I would just break down. And I didn't know how to lift myself up again. But I would make a point and then I would be told to not cry. Why are you crying? Make your point without crying. Make your point without
that's what I said to you.
So, I've also been told that before. And then I learned to make my point without crying.
No.
But I would make my point till date.
No,
and I feel like now that I am an adult, I am in full cognizance of the fact that I am a feminist. And I love that because I advocate for gender neutral, gender equality in all spheres, be it personal, be it social, political, economical, in whatever way. And I want to contribute in a way where even people around me, like if it's my niece or it's my family or if it's friends, I try and practice it in my whole conscience. And if I do miss it, if I've missed it, then I've missed it, right? Like because of internalized misogyny, there will be times when you will miss the bus. You'll be like, oh shit, I was a victim then again you learn. So the process is about evolving. And that's why very early on I said that I am an evolving feminist. I haven't arrived.
No one does. That's the thing.
Yeah.
As you grow, so does
so it is empowering.
Goes higher and higher and higher. And I'll give you a very clear analogy, or maybe an easier one to kind of comprehend what feminism is. Imagine we're all going in a plane. And there, of course, due to capitalism, there are classes. There's a first class, there's business class, and there's economy. Now imagine that we are in a situation where there is extreme turbulence, and the captain has called Mayday, and now you have to evacuate. And you find out that there are life jackets just in the first class, and not for people in economy, just for the first and business class. That's where feminism comes in as well. That's a very crass analogy that I gave, but one which is digestible.
And do you think benevolent sexism would also come in that scenario? Because then the first thing that the crew would say is all ladies and children and old people evacuate first.
Absolutely. And benevolent sexism is also a way to keep women at the back.
Yeah, I mean, it's sneaky.
It's very sneaky.
It's very sneaky. It's like, yeah, we care for you, but actually it's not care. It's just control. Benevolent sexism is sneaky.
Yeah. And it creeps up on you. And it can sound like a harmless compliment, like, hey, for a woman, you're really focused on your work. Or when there's a disaster, that women usually are the first to evacuate with children.
But
That's-
because
that's
of this
paternalism.
internalized misogyny, we are going to run. Hey,
Yeah.
because of this.
Yeah, because they're like, listen, see this, there's no discernment.
Do you think unlearning gender is the first step towards equality?
Absolutely. And I think understanding that emotions between men and women are similar, but just happening at different times. So I think love, hate, strength, weakness, desire. Can you please tell me if these belong to a male or a female? But that's somehow what the world
Conditioned.
is telling you by conditioning. No, they do. Disparate emotion that a man has that a woman doesn't, or a woman has or a man doesn't.
What's the most masculine thing you think you've done?
By becoming a feminist. Because that's just empowerment.
And what's the most feminine thing you
By
think you have
becoming a
done?
feminist. I'm born woman. I have to be a feminist. We don't live in an equal world. It's just about equality. The day you understand that, it's not अखाड़े में थोड़ी है ना औरतें यहाँ मर्द यहाँ अरे हम कह रहे हैं यार एक में हैं।
Can you tell me a favorite? Can you tell me a Bollywood personality, a woman who you think is a feminist and you admire?
I like Shabana Azmi a lot.
What do you think of Priyanka Chopra?
I love Priyanka Chopra. I love Priyanka Chopra. I love her for what she has done with herself, as opposed to me being a fan of her cinema. I think she is one of the greatest examples coming out of India for women to live their dreams unabashedly. Because unapologetically female. You know, with her kind of feminism, even if she's celebrating Karwa Chauth, it's not like she's perpetrating a myth that is like my husband is above me or beyond me, or there's a certain level of equality attached to the way she's doing that as well. So you can, it's a shift and you can feel the energy change, as opposed to एक बेचारी औरत यहाँ इंडिया में बैठे हुए, चाहे वो जूहू में बैठी हुई होगी अपने बंगले में, वो औरतों को इकट्ठा करके एक परफॉर्मेटिव करवा चौथ का रिचुअल रचना के पति परमेश्वर, क्योंकि बॉलीवुड में क्या होता है, गलती तो इंसान से हो जाती है, पति तो परमेश्वर होता है। और इनके पतियों ने पता नहीं ऐसी कितनी गलतियां करी होंगी, तो ये तो माफी करेंगी ना।
Radical forgiveness.
Yeah, I mean radical forgiveness, like I said, but very choice, because यार पति तो पति होता है, वो ऐसे पति तो होते होंगे पति, क्या पता उनको।
Great.
I think feminism लोग समझते हैं एक गाली है, लेकिन वो सबसे बड़ा वरदान है और एक दिन उनको पता चलेगा। इतना ही कहना है मुझे, और ये सबकी जर्नी है यार, सबको अपने वक्त पे पता चल जाएगा और होना ही है।
और ऐसा ही एक इंग्लिश में भी बोल दो।
Either you live long enough that you realize you're a feminist, or you die. जन्म सिर्फ ये नहीं है, और भी हैं, आएंगे आप, क्योंकि हर इंसान को एक ही चीज़ चाहिए। Every human being only wants one thing, and that is equality and equal opportunity. Equal opportunity हम पे निर्भर नहीं करती, लेकिन equality to a great extent is manufactured by the moral code of ethics in our country or in our world. So we can change that. We can tweak it. What's wrong in that?
Got it.
Got it. अपनी माँ को जब हम दुखी देखते हैं, तो यही सेंटिमेंट हम दूसरे की माँ के लिए भी रख सकते हैं एज अ ह्यूमन बीइंग। तो ये सेंटिमेंट माँ तक सीमित या बहन तक सीमित क्यों होता है, या ये सेंटिमेंट कोई भी रिलेशनल एक्सचेंज पे सीमित क्यों होता है? ये तो एक नेचुरल होना चाहिए ना। Now think about a hostage situation where a plane, where they have taken hostage of 500 people. And they say that first we're going to kill the people who are in the lowest rung of the society. And that might be a man, that might be a woman. But as a human being, you will be revolting to that, right? Okay, we have equal right to live as well. Why are you judging that based upon our on casteism or classism or our economic background? So it's just judging another person based on what's between their legs or not. And I'm just saying, don't do that. It's not going to get you anywhere because you've come from between those legs. And that's all. That's my ending statement to this. And we are proud human beings.
Proud feminists.
Proud feminists. I mean, we are feminists. Doesn't need a prefix.
Actually, not even proud. We're just feminists.
We're just feminists.
I don't want to even claim
no prefix needed.
Pride into something.
Yeah,
it's not
why?
even
We are
required.
not proud. We're just, it's an existential, what is that thing? Existential का क्या बोलते हैं? Not crisis, वो जो अपनाते हैं हम लोग.
Dread.
No, it's just our existential...
Status quo.
Yeah, it's our existential status quo. We are feminists. That's a good one. Can you say that? And with
I
that...
said it.
No, say
I'll
that.
end with something else. Okay, so one of the greatest and most powerful or life-changing lines that I came across is by this Australian activist and writer. Her name is G.D. Anderson. And this is what she said, and I would like to quote her. She said, feminism is not about making women stronger. Women are already strong. It is about changing how the world perceives that strength.
Strong नहीं होती तो ऐसे वैसे सब कुछ कर दिया, दे भी दिया, ये भी कर दिया, वो भी कर दिया, ऐसा नहीं हो. Invisible labor कर दिया, unaccounted for millennia.
Right.
Invisible labor of millennia. How will you even bring that to the fore? I see.
So on that note, I think we can close. Thank you for watching yet another episode of Love Lingo. And of course, this was the Adulting Unadulterated segment. You can catch us on all audio streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, or wherever you find your audio streaming from. Also, do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's Love Lingo Podcast.
Make love.
Make love. Make feminism. Make everything pop again. Just live.
दुनिया कहती हम अलग है हमको इससे क्या हम है राही प्यार के ढूंढ रहनुमा पल में जी के देख ले तू कल का क्या पता